Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a beautiful, fantastic, and productive day, because yes, it is possible to do all three at one time in one day. So let me just say that I'm so energized and I'm so happy about my channel. And it is a challenge sometimes because there are so many things about my life that I would like to reveal. I have so many stories to tell. I really fight with myself about telling my stories because I'm a very private person. But in my heart and in my soul, I know that what I have experienced, it will help someone, lots of someone's, to maybe avoid what I had encountered, or whatever it may be, to motivate them to take a completely different direction is what I'm hoping, honestly. Okay, but today, for some reason, I cannot explain. For some reason, I want to tell a very short story. Once upon a time, when I was in high school, I had a friend. So one thing about me in high school, I really did not have close friends. I had one close friend, and that's a whole story. And then I had a lot of just associates, just people that you talk to, you have conversations with, and you laugh with, and all that jazz. But I didn't really hang out with them outside of school that much. So I had one friend, and I remember that she was getting married. We were in high school, and she was getting married, and I remember she did not want to get married. And of course, I told her, I was like, you should not get married if you don't want to get married. And she said, my parents are making me. And I couldn't comprehend that. Like, it just my thought process couldn't match up with someone vocalizing themselves and saying that they did not want to do something, and then their parents, the people that are supposed to love and care for them more than anything in the world, saying, hey, we see what you're saying, we don't care, you got to do it anyway. And that thing being something that sets the course for the rest of their life. And so, like, you know, when you're a minor, you depend on your parents, and if they cut you off and you're not prepared for it, it can be an adjustment, to say the least. And so I just remember for weeks and months, she consistently said, I don't like him, I don't love him, I don't want to marry him. And I just remember being like, oh my goodness, there's no way she's actually going to marry this person that she doesn't love. She doesn't even like him. I I don't know when it happened, and I don't know how, but she married him. And there's a whole story of what happened afterwards, and I'm pretty sure you can suspect, but it was like before that whole situation, I was undecided about getting married at an age where other girls were dreaming about getting married. So time went on, and time went on, and time went on, and time went on. And most recently, I just now realized how much that impacted my perception of getting married, and I really had a misconstrued conception of getting married, and in my mind, getting married interfered with my free will. And I was like, well, God gave me free will, and my free will, I just don't know how a partner would respect that. So let me pause right here and say that arranged marriages are not something of the past. Arranged marriages are ever present in our society. Some arranged marriages are thoughtfully done, and they are beautiful. But as all things in life, our actions are indicative of our true intentions. And the motivation behind arranged marriages sometimes are not for the people actually engaging in those arranged marriages. So I say that all to basically, some arranged marriages are beautiful and some are dark. Why am I sharing this? I am sharing this because with our free will and with all the options that we have for in the tangible world and the digital world, it is so easy to forget that our free will and options and so on, with all of that in mind, marriage is not the end. It is a new beginning. It's a new beginning. It's a new life. Not to say that your previous life isn't significant or whatever, but it is a time of passage. Pause. I say marriage is a time of passage. It is not the time of passage. There are numerous times of passage in one's life, and a time of passage for one person might not be it might not be a time of passage for another person's life. We are all unique and distinctive. We all have our own paths. We all have our significant moments. So another reason why I share this story, I know it pertains to marriage, but it really extends beyond that. God gave us free will, and He gave us free will for countless reasons beyond my imagination. But one thing that I do notice consistently, daily, is that we tend to take for granted the things that we have had since birth. And free will is one of them. I know that when you're a child, you have limited access to your free will, but you still have it, even though it's limited. So the free will is something that we take for granted, and with most things in life, when you take it for granted, it is so easy to forget that you have it. For example, I have lots of perfume. I've God has blessed me with perfume. He knows that I love perfume. And so I've had access to perfume. He has gifted me with perfume. And I have had enough perfume to where there are some bottles where I just forget about them. I forget that I have them. I ignore them. I dismiss them. And I gravitate towards a few core perfumes. Now, maybe season by season, spring, winter, fall, summer, the core perfumes rotate. But essentially, I am limiting and constricting my own God-given free will. Like, just think about that for a second. He has given you all these options, but for whatever reason, you are only seeing a select few when it's endless. Now, for you men, because my channel is not just for one particular gender, so maybe for you men, you're trying to fix up some 1950 Cadillac. I don't know. I don't know cars. But you have this whole roster of tools. But usually when you have a problem, you go towards this core set of tools. But for whatever reason, maybe because it's a classic car, what have you, I don't know. It requires a specialized set of tools. But you're so focused on the fact that you, in the past, have used this core set. You forget you have... you forget you have this whole collection of tools at your accessibility. And you're limiting your own free will. And thus far, when you limit your own free will, you limit your own progress. I just had this flashback as I was adding in that title slide to explain my thoughts. Once upon a time, I read this book, and it was called Who Moved My Cheese? And I remember that being like so thought-provoking, so motivating, so profound, and it just being so simply put, but effective. It just talks about life and the changes in life, and how what worked at some point doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to work. Life changes. Life is dynamic because people are dynamic. It is okay to change. There's something about our society that says that people are always supposed to be the same or whatever. Nonsense. Change within your own consent. Change in a positive way. Change in a way that's progressive. Change in a way that acknowledges who you used to be, but embraces everything that you will become. And then you believe it. And you remind yourself, because you can become what you aspire to be. You just make a plan, and you be good, and you be kind to yourself and other people, and you be diligent. You encourage yourself. Now you have to recognize what really is encouraging to you. I do. When I want to encourage myself, I sing. And I used to paint. And I listen to motivational videos, and I pray, and I go to my garden. But motivation is different for different people. Motivation, I think it's also important to start to be sensitive in a productive way, because you can't be sensitive in a productive way, and observant, and just realize what sucks your motivation into a black hole and avoid it. Motivation, I feel, is something like intrinsic. It is the something about the law of Newton. I don't know. Science class was a challenge for me, but something about the conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, just transferred. And I feel that motivation and our free will, I don't know. I feel like somewhere in there it kind of falls into alignment. Be intentional about your free will. Be intentional about the life that God has given you. Put your life into something meaningful, and your free will into something meaningful. He gave it to us for a reason. Find joy in everything that you do. If it's washing the dishes, if it's working, if it is running errands, if it is reading an article that somebody recommended to you that you really don't want to read, but they're going to ask you about it. Whatever it is, there is a little bit of joy in everything that we do in life. You just have to find it. So take your free will. Take your free will to find the person that you truly love. Take your free will to move halfway across the country, to move to the other side of the world. Take your free will to start over again. Part of our free will is the ability to take the conscious decision to be happy, and to take our happiness and to spread it. Because sharing your happiness with someone else does not diminish the happiness that you already had. You take your free will and you go and you find the love of your life. Take your free will and you go play, you go try out for that professional sports league that you have been aspiring to. Take your free will and you fly across the United States of America. When is it too late to start over? Never. It is never too late to start over. It's never too late. I've talked to so many people of all different ages that have decided a new direction in their life, and they have taken it with gusto. I always film at night, and I don't know why, but that's how it happens. I truly hope that this inspired multiple people in my heart and my soul. And la 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 la. I think it's time to go to sleep now. Good night. I adore you. But before I go to sleep, I want you to know you are important. What you do matters. You are smart, you are funny, you are kind, and every day you bring a smile to somebody's face. What are you going to do with your free will? Brighter days are always on the horizon, I assure you, and I adore you.